Good evening. This is the Monday, January 6th Nominations and Appointments Committee meeting. My name is Chris Miller. I'm the counselor for District 6. Beside me is Counselor Vanessa Campos from District 1. And with us virtually is Counselor Wesley Butler from District 4. Tonight, we have one applicant for a reappointment, and this is for the Code and License Appeals Board. And with us, we have Mark, and I apologize ahead of time. I will try my best with your last name, Cianciosi?
Well, it's Cianciosi.
Okay,
Like CIs in Italian or CHs, like ciao.
okay,
CIAO, ciao.
understood. That's why I apologized ahead of time.
No apology necessary.
Okay, I think I'll just call you Mark.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, Mark, since this is a reappointment, I know you've been through this process before. But for those watching, just so everyone understands, the process is we will take turns asking you questions. And it's a very relaxed atmosphere. Don't feel like you're under pressure. Just answer the questions candidly. At the end, if you have any questions for us, you're free to ask them. So I will start out. Could you, in your words, just give us an overview of what is entailed with your position on the board?
Well, it seems if there is a code violation, there's a process that people that do not agree with the violation and would like to appeal the said violation, they could go through a formal process to have a hearing in front of our board to determine the disposition of their case, if you will. Lately, we've been focusing on the ATV and motorcycle mini bike destruction process. We haven't had too many landlord tenant type of complaints or appeals, or at least since I've been on the board, maybe one in the past, and I think we have one coming up. So we were quite focused on the destruction of the illegally, operated on the streets of Reading ATVs and motorcycles. So my wife and I owned rental properties in the city of Reading for a number of years. I just retired within the last 2 years and subsequently sold those properties. So I know a little bit about the landlord tenant issues that may arise and how to deal with some of those. But I virtually took over this position. My wife was on the board, same position as I have, Pam Cianciosi, and she was asked to serve on the redistricting board at that time. So Ms. Kelleher asked if I would be willing to serve on the board. I was a past board member of the Reading Parking Authority for about 5 years. And I said, sure. So here I am.
Okay. And I have one other question I just need some clarification. What is the difference between someone going to the board that you serve on and say a district justice? What's the difference?
Well, we cannot give any or mandate any civil penalties. Can't commit someone of a crime. We have no authority to do that type of thing. Hopefully, we are an intermediate step between the violator and the district, not this district, whatever they're called. What are they called now? District justices, they used to be. I think we're the intermediary step between that that formal process. Am I correct in that? I believe I am.
But that would make sense, but you only deal with the owner. In other words, you would not, your board would not be involved with like landlord tenant. It would be more landlord city codes, correct?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're right. Probably landlord city. Like I said, we haven't had too many of those. Well, only one since I've been on the board, and we have one coming up, I believe. And yeah, the property owner and the city are the ones really, they're the property owner, in my mind, is appealing to us to take another look at this. You, you know, um, and I think our board, there's a lot of nice people on the board, and everybody has an open mind. There's no one out there to get anyone, if you will. They seem very reasonable people, so it's good.
Okay, I'm gonna pass it to my fellow counselors. We'll start with Counselor Butler.
Thank you, Chris. Hi, Mark. Thank you for wanting to be sign up to be a reappointment to the Code License and Appeals Board. I just have two questions for you. The first one is, what changes to the board composition would you recommend?
Board composition, boy. No, we have a solicitor. Ms. Kelleher represents the city. In the ATV cases, we had the appropriate people from the police department, the public works department, wherever they keep these seized vehicles. The composition of the board, in my opinion, is probably structured in some type of ordinance. I mean, you can't just go screwing around with the composition of boards. I don't believe. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I wouldn't think that would be the case. But I don't really have a recommendation on how to, improve or make better the current situation. It's all I know, really.
Okay, that's fine. Do you believe that the process that's currently used to conduct the hearings is efficient and it's working well for not only the board but also those who are on the other side taking up the appeal?
Well, yeah, it's as efficient as it can be. I know the police department, and I'm going back to the seizure of these illegal street riding vehicles, because that's what basically my experience has been. And I know it takes a lot of effort and time and energy and waste of time, in my opinion, of the police department to try to find the rightful owner of these vehicles. And it seems very cumbersome. It seems very unproductive, in my humble opinion, but it also seems necessary. You have to find the violator. You have to let them give them a notice for their options, pay the fine, fight the fine, appeal it to our board. It's a lengthy process, in my opinion. I think it's a fair process, really. And some of these meetings we had were just ceremoniously done. The people would not come to respond to their seized vehicle, or you couldn't get the rightful owner, the rightful paperwork from PennDOT for proof of title. And we never really had a confrontation with or a discussion with the person, the owner of the vehicle, and they're wanting to get the vehicle back in their possession, even though it was confiscated because it was a violation on the street. So my limited experience here, this is not like the parking authority I was on, where you have a meeting and you discuss very intricate things in detail. Here, it's been going pretty smoothly since I've been on here.
All right, that's good to hear. You definitely been on the board for some time now, so that's good to hear that things are running efficient in your eyes.
Well,
Those are my two questions. Thanks again for your answers.
no,
Uh,
yeah, thank
yeah,
you.
I'll pass it now to Counselor Campos.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Butler, and welcome, Mark. Thank you for your interest in the reappointment. The only question I have is how many appeal hearings has the board held over in your term?
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have some coming up in beginning of January. I'm gonna say about 4 since I've been on the board. It's very sporadic. I don't know what happens. Maybe the resolution or the issue is solved before it gets to our level. I know in the case of the ATV destruction or the motorcycles, it has to go through our board, I believe, and they only have those maybe 2 times a year, 3 times a year. Like I said, we have one coming up. Ms. Mayfield just emailed me. Michelle Mayfield, we're going to schedule 2 meetings in 2025. I'm not sure what the meetings are regarding. I do think they are property owner violations, but I'm not sure. I did not get the agenda yet. So yeah, I didn't really do much. It went pretty smoothly. The meetings are infrequent. It's not like it's a full-time job. I have to be at City Hall 7 days a week or even once a month for that matter. So it's only been 4, possibly 5 that I've been involved with.
Thank you, Mark. That's all I have.
Just a follow-up question, of the hearings that you've been involved with, were they all involving all-terrain vehicles, or were there any that were properties?
There were one in the very beginning when my wife left the board to go to the other board, that they were wrapping up something with a gentleman, something with a trash container issue on a property, but that I wasn't involved from the beginning of that. That was the only one. All the others have been the ATV motorcycle destruction issues that we dealt with. But I think we have some coming up. I think we have some other issues coming up in the beginning of January here, or beginning of February maybe. But yeah, like I said, I've been primarily involved with the ATV destruction.
Thank you. Did you have any questions for us?
No, this has been a pleasure serving, the city, and even though it's a small task for me to do, but it's been a pleasure serving the city. So I've been around or lived in the city since 1980. We built our house here in 1989. We're in the Riverdale section of the city. I have no real complaints with anything. It's been a pleasure. Wasn't like the parking authority with Mr. Vaughn Spencer and just the times when I was on the authority were a little challenging, if we say the least. If you know what I mean.
But we appreciate that you volunteered your time for the board in the past. We keep mentioning to the public that it would be great if everybody could just share a little bit of their time to help their city and to
Yeah.
help keep all the boards filled. So.
Oh, yeah, you have
people
a,
that- Yeah, the people that are on the boards, we do appreciate that they're giving up their time. At this point, Shelley will explain the remainder of the process, and then we'll take a vote.
So Mark, after the interview's concluded, the committee will deliberate about the reappointment. Assuming they will move that forward, you'll be on council's agenda on Monday for reappointment officially. You'll hear from me tomorrow either way, and you do not need to be at the council meeting on the 13th.
okay, that's fine. Did my salary go up?
Of course.
Just joking.
Thank you again for appearing virtually.
No, I was intending to come in there. I was at my office. I still work part-time, like I said, and I just walked in the door. My wife's going, holy crow, you're late. I said, well, sorry, but no, this is fine. We do our meetings virtually for the actual board meetings, which is very nice. You know, you have some people, Jamar Kelly, on the road, and he can join. And if I'm busy, I don't know why I'm so busy, but if I'm busy, I can join via the tablet here. It's very nice. So very accommodating. You do a nice job. You know, I don't know.
We appreciate that you took the time to be here virtually, and thank you again for the time that you've committed in the past to being on the board, and have a good evening.
Okay, thank you. You enjoy your evening as well. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Night.
Good night. I don't know how to get off here. Whatever.
There should be an end button on the lower
Yeah.
right hand side. Click
Leave.
that.
It says
Yep.
leave.
That's
Leave.
it.
So I'm gonna be leaving. Have a good evening.
Good night, Mark.
Good night.
Okay. So, any comments on the applicant, the reappointment?
I like his enthusiasm and just straightforward responses. I would be in favor of having him join us again.
Wes?
You're muted, Wes.
Sorry. Yes, I would be in favor as well. I did like how enthusiastic he was. He also seemed to know a lot about the board he was on, and like what he's been on the board for about 3 years now. So you know, he definitely knows about the process. He talked positively about the board and how accommodating they are to him. So I definitely see his commitment in the way he talks about the board, and his thoughts about the city and keeping up with current city issues like the ATV and bikes. So, yep, I am definitely for him.
I'm in agreement. The fact that he mentioned that he had owned rental properties, I think is a plus for this board. And as Councilor Butler mentioned, you know, the fact that Reading, along with so many cities, suddenly had to deal with the issue of ATVs, where it never really existed in mass before like it did. It showed that as a board member, they were willing to take on a new challenge and move forward, which sometimes people aren't that willing to do, so I thought that was a plus to hear about that too, so I am in favor too, so. We'll vote, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, vote is taken, passed. And Mr. Mark will be reappointed to the Code and License Appeal Board. Now, second item, appointment, reappointment recommendations,
You just did that.
okay. Third item, review pending applications memo.
So there's not been much change on any of these. I will say that Chris and I had a discussion before the meeting started. Chris requested that we meet only when there's more than one person to be interviewed, which is fine with me. As long as it is okay with the rest of the committee, that way we're not doing one person at a time. I don't have anybody who's coming ready at this point anyway. So we probably won't have a meeting until February.
Is everyone in agreement with that?
I think
Yes.
for me, it makes sense, but I wouldn't want to delay the one. Because if one person is ready and we're waiting for another one, like, I'm just concerned of how much of a delay to get the other person on the board ready to go. Because these vacancies have been open for a long time, so as we're waiting for somebody else to get their paperwork together, there's this one person that is not serving the board that we want them to. That's the only thing I'm thinking about, how would we counter that? And probably we could just gauge it as we go and.
Yeah, I can, if you want, before I just automatically schedule, I can email all of you, see what you think. And I always am in contact with the applicant. So if it's something that they don't mind waiting, if it's a reappointment and you don't mind waiting, that's different than someone who
Right.
is new for a position that's been vacant for a long
Yeah,
time.
we just wanna get them in there, so that makes sense.
And also, the meetings are always, like, not all the meetings, for each board, authority, commission is a monthly thing. So that we can look at as well, cause if the next meeting isn't for another 3 months, then we can wait a little
Right.
bit.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Or
I like
something
to,
that.
yeah, explore
Yeah,
those, cause I was
yeah.
just concerned.
And for the applicants that are sort of in a holding pattern in the mayor's office, can we use this to expedite?
I don't have anyone sitting in the mayor's office at this
Right
point.
now, but I know we have in the past.
We have in the past. I can try.
Okay, that's a good enough answer. Okay.
I was, after he has them for, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then I start, poking staff, moving forward. for me,
I
please.
wish this issue was the opposite, where we had so many people, we had to limit the number of people we would have interviews for, rather than trying to wait until we had enough people.
Right,
That's really how it should be, maybe one day. Can we have a brief discussion about the youth commission?
sure.
Wes, I
Yes.
know just from emails and different things, it seems like the youth commission is sort of
Floundering.
floundering or not moving as it was originally intended to. Do you have any ideas?
I know outside of the emails you see, they do have a group chat that I'm in, and it is frequently used every week. I think it was Melanie who got some of the youth commissioners together to do a cleanup. I believe it's her that she does monthly, but it just seems as though it seems like they're operating more outside of just the meetings. I know I do see emails of commissioners saying I just can't make the meetings because of the time, but outside of the meetings, from what I see in the group chat, it seems that though they're meeting up to do things on their own. And also the events that are we hold downtown, you know, I see them posting messages in the group chats talking about showing up, but I'm just not sure if that stuff's being talked about during the meetings. I know the last meeting of the year I had missed, but I know Shelly, you've been to every meeting, but that's from what I see.
So what you're saying is it's more of an informal group than like a formal meeting group?
Yeah, it's that's the best way to put it. It seems like they're doing more things informal than they are doing uh formal, which is not a bad thing.
Right, no, that's
But
good to hear. No, I'm glad, thank you for clarifying that. That's
yeah.
good.
I know Shelly, you do mention, you know, there are vacancies though, so that still tends to be an issue. But for the ones who are currently on the commission, it's not that I don't see anyone not caring or um showing a lack of passion to be on the board.
Any other discussions, not just about the youth commission, anything?
I don't have anything else.
To follow up on the youth commission, do we have the Reading School, the school board, there were some people that were gonna come over and kind of help us out with this?
Yes, they have been consistently attending now. It's Melissa Eggert, and then it's usually the other person kind of rotates around depending on who's available.
Okay, so we have that situation and they're kind of
Yep.
backing up.
Yeah, we've got that restarted.
Okay.
Right. Is there anything, any other business? I have a motion to adjourn,
So,
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned, see you next meeting, whenever that may be.
When-